So here we have LB. Now remember, as always, we don't have our poodles like on a table without like a towel or a bed. Training him to use his little head cushion because it just makes my job so much easier. And we never brush a coat dry or comb it. So we're gonna start to get some condition into these split ends, right? So it's not so much the discoloration that I'm worried about, although, you know, if you do have discolored coat, you might as well cut it off if you have the opportunity. But these split ends, you can see here his coat's fine and here he has split ends. You might as well just cut it off, basically anything that you can see through. So this was what I would do if I'm not showing a dog for 1 month or more. And I kind of always did it at the last dog show of every year. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little maintenance top knot in here. So I'm like gonna divide the coat and just take a look at it. And then I don't always put a band in it at this point, but I am. It's just gonna make my life easier on camera. I'm using these thick wrapping bands, even on a toy, because thinner bands can break the hair, and I'm only going around the coat 3 times, right? Because you don't want it too tight, and that's gonna start breaking the coat. And then all of this see-through stuff just needs to come off, right? Like that's where you can kind of see through the coat. And I'm just gonna take that off. And it just looks, you can tell how much thicker and fuller it's gonna be all the way to the end now, right? So I'm just going to do another section. So I've kind of taken his coat from the front of his head to the front corner of his ear in 2 sections. He doesn't have a lot of coat. He's a toy poodle. Probably even on a super thick coated dog, the most I would do would be 3 sections for my maintenance. You could also do a Shih Tzu split, but he kind of doesn't like that. I know that from trial and error. So again, I have this other section, and you can see not quite as much of it is see-through, but you can still see that from here up is see-through. And same thing, I'm just going to cut that off. You can see immediately how much fuller and thicker it looks. And now I'm just gonna band these 2 sections together. And this kind of section is a little bit awkward. It might take 1, it might take 2 bands. And then I have this little piece of extra hair that somehow I missed. Boop, off that comes. Now I am going to part the hair at the top of his ear and comb all this coat down. Now his ears aren't in that bad of a shape, right? Like he kind of has fuller hair to the tips of his ears, and I'm just going to take those tips off, just kind of dusting off the edges. They're still nice and full all the way to the end. And I am going to do the same on this side. Just combing it all to the end. And again, you can see it's not really see-through there, so I'm just gonna like dust off those ends. Now, typically, I would wrap or band these ears. He is a nightmare with bands and wrappers, so I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do about that kind of after we get the rest of his top knot maintenance done. So now the section from the front corner of the ear to the back corner of the ear on both sides and straight across at the back is my next section. I always think on poodles, to me, this is the most important section of coat because this is, you know, I want the highest point of the top knot to be at the occiput. So again, putting that rubber band in it 3 times. And once again, everything that is see-through just comes off. Now I am going to take my wrapper. Before I put the wrapper on, I'm going to use some Miracle Cream. So any deep conditioning treatment, I'm going to put that at the ends of the coat. And I'm going to use my wrapper. And I'm just going to go. And why am I doing this? So it's like a deep conditioning treatment, a hot oil treatment, because the wrapper is going to keep that moisture of that treatment, that coat conditioner in there. And kind of slippery to hold on to with my hands covered in conditioner. Boop. Come on, put your head back in there, sit up straight. Always just a little lesson for them then. A little spritz. And then I'm going to do one more section. And I'm going to try to make it about the same size as this ear section. So coming straight down from the corner of the ear on either side. Don't do that. And grasping this whole section of coat. And the reason it's kind of binding up on my comb is because of the split ends typically, right? If your dog is all clean and dematted and then you're still having problems, it's typically because you have that cottony texture and or split ends, because it's the split ends that are grabbing at that comb. And you can see how long this section is. And I'm going to give that a little comb through, but you can see how much of that we can see through, right? So I'm going to be brutal, just cut it off right there. Do the same thing, a little bit of Miracle Cream, and I put it at the end, and I'm putting the hair on the wrapper and just taking the wrapper around, putting my rubber band on here, and there we go, that nice hot oil treatment. So now ideally I would wrap the rest of his coat. I'm not feeling it, right? Like I'm tired, he's tired. So I just want to make sure that I'm cutting off all these ends. So I'm just going to go through and cut off all of the, see the see-through? You just want to cut that off. So that when I kind of look, and if I kind of like point him a little bit better towards the camera, right? When I have all this hair combed out, see, we can see some see-through hair here and here. I just want to like take those ends off. There's no sense, like those split ends are just going to keep being a problem with the coat. And so now, even though I'm not wrapping his ears because he's a little jerk about his wrappers, I do want to get some extra conditioner in there, right? So I have my Miracle Cream and I'm going to get it in there. And I could do this every night. Like when he comes in before he goes to bed, I would keep the Miracle Cream like on top of his crate and just put it through all the, you can even apply a little bit like directly to the ear, just to keep that moisture getting in there. And same to the end, even though like this isn't in a wrapper, I still want to keep, I don't want these ends to get split as well. And then all around his face, wherever he has those split ends. Now, you can see kind of in between his wrappers how his coat is a little bit cottony. So one of the things you can do about that is you can kind of like dab a little bit of coat treatment in between there. It helps those wrappers to stay not getting, oops, lost our pillow. And then even this coat, like there's still some kind of split ends I can see right there. So even this coat, I might take some Miracle Cream, lay down, and I might just like kind of work it through the coat, and now my hands are slippery, through the ends of this coat to protect them from damage.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Please leave us a comment below, let us know what you thought, and as well, if you have any ideas for future content that you'd like to see, you can put them down there as well. You can head over to leadingedgedogshow.com where you can find our free, premium, and subscription content, and we'd love to have you join us there. As well, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications, that way you never miss another free video tutorial. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.